you guys doing? My name is Bradley, and I'm a co-founder of Vito.
I'm Rakima. I'm a co-founder of Vito as well. And then that's Justin, the CEO of Vito.
Did you guys know that there are over 70,000 students here in the capital region spread over 10 campuses? Did you also know there are over 2,100 restaurants here in this capital region? But why is it that students only know about 10 to 12 restaurants at most? Well, here, we'll do a little role play for you guys. Hi, I'm Brad. I'm a restaurant owner here in the capital region, and I struggle reaching the college students. They say that there are over 70,000 of them here in this region, but why can I get to them? I'm open late, so why do I struggle so much? I'm also Brad. I'm a college student here in the capital region, and my campus dining hall is closed, but I'm hungry, so I have a problem as well. Well, here is the solution. Yes, there are other food ordering apps on the market. Some are efficient, some scratch the surface of the college demographic, and some are priced lower than others, but none of these other apps do what we do in addition. And in addition to these things, we also have other special features that I'll get to in a second. So here are some of our special features. Our biggest feature is called Buzz Points. Buzz Points are a way for students to accumulate points each time they order, and once they accumulate these points, they can redeem them for free food. Every college student loves free food. Our second big feature is one for the restaurants, our flash sale system. Flash sales are a way for restaurants to incentivize users to gain more buzz points when they order these items. Maybe an item might not be selling as much as another item on a certain day. So these flash sales are a way for store owners to get these items off and out of the store. And our third big feature is gift ordering, a way for students and parents to send food to other students and their child as well. So this is a live order process for everybody. Well, I'll explain what's going on since the video is not playing. On the left is the back-end page that the restaurants will have access to. They'll have extensive data analytics where they could see what item is being ordered the most, the least, and they could also be able to track ordering patterns for each school. On the right, that's the student's phone, so they have the ability to place an order on their phone, and they also get push notifications from the restaurant after the order is accepted from the restaurant. These apps are built on both iOS and Android, and the backend page is also fully built. So the question you all might be asking is why now, or even why here? Well, according to our statistics, you already ranked number 2 in the nation in late night food ordering. Number 2. This proves that we have the perfect place to get started. This is our go-to marketing strategy. There are a bunch of ways that we plan on marketing to the students and marketing the restaurants to other users. Our big point is our on-campus brand ambassador system, and we already have on-campus brand ambassador at the university at home. This is the way for us to keep our voice on campus when we can't physically be there. So here's the market size. There are over 4,500 colleges and universities spread over this great nation. 20 million students are enrolled in these colleges and universities, and 8 million students live on campus. This proves that this plan is duplicable throughout the whole nation. So here's some customer discovery that we've done with Clint over the summer and over the past year. Well, last year, we had a couple of tournaments and competitions at Albany. We had a couple of Uno contests where we gave out a bunch of gifts and prizes. And we also had a social media contest where we had students take a picture with our Major Buzz Street sign, and the most likes won. And some of the restaurants that we have signed up are I Revived Ichiban, I Love New York Pizza, Flying Chicken, and we also have a ton of other restaurants on the app as well. So this is our team. Myself, Justin Lee, Rahima, and Dalton. We all graduated from the University at Albany this May. And this is our team of great advisors, Clint included.
And Bruce is sitting back there.
And Bruce sitting right there. So this is some of our accomplishments for the second half of this year, basically. So we were finalists in the Blackstone Business Plan competition in around April. We also were featured in the Times Union newspaper. We completed the Ignite U Early Accelerator program, which Clint was the instructor of. And Rick was also part of that program. Bruce, also a big part of that program as well. We were also featured in the SUNY Albany News Center website twice. We were accepted into the BizLab affiliation program. We were also accepted into this program. And through this program, we plan on further developing our business plan. And we also plan on analyzing and processing the data that we receive. And we're also top 15 finalists in the 1 million cups, 1 in a million competition. We beat out over 200 contestants to make it to the top 15, and if you guys can please vote for us, we'll really appreciate it. Thank you guys for your
October 10th, so it's like on the break right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys gotta like post it.
Yeah.
Send some out.
Mhm.
Yeah, get some votes. Question?
Who's your main customer for the data analytics backend? Is it the same restaurants that are already a customer, or is there another interested customer that would want that data?
There's tons of potential customers for that. Initially, of course, the restaurant's going to want it to figure out when they want to drive different ordering patterns and what students going to come in. But schools also are going to be ready. They want to know the data on ordering patterns for their students.
So you have customers that you students use your platform?
Yes, we're preparing to launch next week on both iOS and Android platform. We've been beta testing and.
What is your what do you think? How much customers do you think you'll retain after the first week or first time they buy it?
Well, how many have retained so far from the data?
Pretty much, we had a beta test of around 300 students. They ordered around 2 to 3 times with one of the police that we had it, and we had a pretty good retention rate. Probably around 30%, 30-40% of our students.
We tried to keep it really close because we were just really to test out the kinks, so it wasn't like full blown, but it was more like just to keep things together.
And the last question: how do you plan on tackling the school in terms they have preferred agreements with Sodexo and Cisco? They're actually the largest beneficiary of the campus dining programs.
Yeah. So Sodexo is a huge deal with us. That's what we deal outside of campus. The biggest thing with the restaurants is that Sodexo won't let the restaurants market to the campus. So we help restaurants market as well as drive orders to them. So we have to with clubs and organizations to promote their business and also drive business to the restaurants.
So the kids aren't going directly to the restaurant?
No. They get the order through our application, but there's going to be additional events. So say we have a Japanese food cuisine at our restaurant out there. They're going to team up with different Japanese clubs and organizations to drive the different organizations to get to know about their business.
Things like the student is going to the restaurant themselves still to get their food.
No, it's deliver or pick up.
Oh, in the restaurant.
Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah.
So,
All right, we gotta wrap it up.
Just like to really like just hit the nail on the head on the thing about the school. We chose not to partner with the school at this time because we knew that that's going to be like a really big barrier. So we're taking more of the middleman approach to it and just being the way that you order through it versus like I guess it would be more of like a Grubhub like approach where it's upon them to just order through it and then the restaurant carries out everything else. Because if we partnered with the school on it, that would be a little bit more difficult for us.
All right. So how many customers have you guys spoken to? You know?
Oh my god.
Around
Probably like
400 or 500.
Over 500, yeah. We got the
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot.
That's
just
good.
like this summer when we first started.
Right. So there's a cool thing, like Mobius, you've spoken to 400, you guys spoken to hundreds, and other people that have spoken to hundreds. You're mixed in here with people who have spoken like tens, maybe. But the language changes. So when you see people that have spoken to 400 customers, the emphasis of their presentation and the language of the changes. Even you guys were asking questions about retain rate and stuff like that. If you haven't sold anything or beta launched anything, there's no such thing as retention there. You're not thinking about that far downstream. So anyway, it's just interesting for me to see the different changes. All right, so that's everybody that has spoken last time, so I gave them extra time. I'm gonna be super strict on you guys. So anybody that has already spoken once, you clowns have 4 minutes. Rick's gonna stand up and wave, and I'm gonna unplug the computer, all right? We gotta get stuff done. So I'm gonna call up this team right here. We're just gonna do it. Are you ready? Let's go.
So that's the main thing, right? I think you saw what we were trying to do. And last time the director spoke about it, and then the other person in the team, and the third person is Rick, is sitting somewhere. So the big question is, just to remind you, is what if, right? What if we could catch a mosquito and all of a sudden we can tell you that there's Zika or not? What if we can run a swab down your throat and in a second, not in a second, but very, very quickly we can tell you if it's a strep and it's a MRSA? What if we can also get a milliliter of the beer that you're brewing in your company, and we can tell you that in a week from now it's not going to taste good? And what if we could get a leaf of your salad and tell you that there is listeria in that? So you don't sell it to the customers, so you have to recall it later on, and we tell you before you do that. Well, we can do this type of work in 1 hour or less. And some of the things that we discovered during this discovery process is that we didn't think that we had a prototype, and instead we do, because we're already cranking out data. So basically we have that. Who cares? Last time I told you all these segments of the market might be interested. Why? Because the leading technology is antibodies, or you have to perform microbial testing for these, and it takes time to develop the antibodies. It takes money to do it, and of course there is no single assay that can target Zika, strep, MRSA, scankybia, listeria, you name it. Okay. Our solution: we can put any of these mosquitoes, tissue, cells, blood, saliva, urine, everything. Milk, we're discovering milk. We can put it in a blender, do the analysis of RNA. We can talk about the technique later, what RNA is. But the beauty of these is that at the end we get pictures for the regular mosquito and the Zika infected mosquito. Even just looking at that, you can tell they're different. We have software to do the different plots, so we know exactly they're different. And we can create a database where all these pathogens, all these things that are not normal in your food or in your cells, in your throat, whatever, can be detected through a simple database search. We have the know-how, the software, the hardware. We have an IP in the pipeline. With Teresa Walker, we're at the University of Albany. I'm going to skip on this because really our possible target is changing by the day. I'm actually going to tell you what we've been doing and why we're here. We don't have a company yet. We don't know what we're targeting. We don't know even what type of business we're going to have. And that's why we're trying to discover this. In the first week, we wanted to go after the food industry, pharmaceutical industry, biotech, government agencies, software companies. Doing cold calling is the hardest thing in the world. That's the first discovery that we did this week. It's going to be impossible for us to target any of these biotech or these diagnostic companies just by doing cold calling. We're counting on friends and family for networking. If you know anybody that knows the third cousin of anybody, let us know. So during this week, it was easier for us to target the food industry. So Rebecca lives in Hudson, so on the way here, there are several brewery, farms, several criminal operations that she's been stopping at each and everyone to ask what is the regular thing. I target some breweries. Probably you can tell by the type of guy that I am. And we started to get some feedback in there. So we discovered, for example, that the brewery, they don't have any regulatory problems. Basically nothing except for yeast grows in the brew because the pH is too low, the alcohol is too high. And all they do is they do organoleptic analysis, they test it, and if it smells good, it tastes good, then it's good, they sell it. But every now and then they have very bad batches. It's probably not due to the yeast. Okay, we did a lot of work in the lab in yeast. We can tell you if the yeast is catching a cold, right? If the yeast grows at a regular temperature, it has a certain pattern, certain features, statistically done on gazillion samples. If it doesn't get the cold, it's going at the regular temperature, it looks different. We can tell you the difference. The brewer told me, oh, we don't care about that because the yeast will grow slower and we still get a nice tasting brew. All that we need to do is really taste it. So instead of a customer, we gain a collaborator. This is my last slide. We gain a collaborator here where we're going to get yeast taken at different stages in the process, and we're going to get yeast from the batches that taste good and batches that taste bad, and we're going to start a database in there. I have similar stories for creamery. We are gaining actually more collaborators than customers at this point. But the idea is that we're already shaping a little bit the type of business. We'll probably have a truck with this thing sitting on there, and we will have one of our employees driving around the country and making tests on site for ease of application.
Beautiful. Nothing better than technical team doing cold calls for customers. It's refreshing. It's awesome. It's actually what this program is all about. And don't get discouraged if you're just talking to collaborators, but be sure you go off and find who the customer is too. Because collaborators will find those customers, most likely. Be sure that you circle back. All right, Rick, 4 minutes.
Okay, so the product that we were trying to work on right now is a high throughput assay for protein kinetic stability with applications in drug discovery for protein misfolding diseases such as ALS. And so we're not at the 400 stage of customer interviews yet, but we're working on it, and I think we're going to get better as we go along. So it's an exciting time. So we're still trying to really narrow down what our customer is. So a lot of the interviews we've been doing so far have been with research laboratories, so like our end user. And we're hoping to use information that we get from this to look at some companies that, such as pharmaceutical companies and manufacturers that produce products similar to what we're trying to produce, so that we can talk to someone that has the ability to distribute this product once we have it working. So our assay, our original idea for the assay was to have the spin column. So all the laboratory we need to have is the centrifuge, which you guys heard a little bit about already today. And that's something that we thought was pretty common in laboratories. But one thing that we found with one of the interviews is that they thought that maybe having a vacuum manifold would be something that more people would have access to than a centrifuge. So that's something that we're looking into. Working on our business model, and we hope to keep adding to this. And so we have a couple different steps to reach a wider range of customers rather than just starting with the people that we know. We're going to attend conferences for specialized for protein diseases, so other people that know protein, and also a trade show for the people that might be able to distribute this product to end users, and continue working on a prototype and incorporating what we learned from our end users into our final product. And 2 minutes, so.
All right. Any questions? I want to shake your hand for doing 21 attempts because this is a very technical thing, and like you had 21 attempted, contacts with customers, like that's very damn good. You're proud of that. All right. That we'll go. Impact technology.
All right, Rick's got the hook, so you guys keep looking back at Rick.
All right.
How do I advance?
Just right here.
Hi, everybody. Again, we're Impact Technologies. We're going to talk, unless anybody has any questions, we're going to move right to our sixth slide. We're going to talk about what we learned this week, who we talked to, where we're going next. So in the target market, what we know now and we talked about this last week, about $850 million in size. category of users. Ultimately, the client is the motorcycle user. So Jay went out and talked to a number of riders, and really what we already know is we're there to give them what they want. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what he heard, and then we're going to move on through and how we got that information and where we're going from there.
All right. Well, lucky for me that there's these things called bike night, where you can go to a place like a restaurant, barbecue place. They host a bike night, and you'll get some attendance there, all bikers, of course. So I went to a bike night, one in Clifton Park on Wednesday, and on Thursday I was in Saratoga at another bike event. I make direct contact with the customers that I'm looking at dealing with, and unlike everybody else who might have a problem engaging the customer, I was 10 for 10. They're very easy to talk to, knowing my tribe. Those guys right there, okay, these are my people. You know, I'm a rider, so I fit right in. You know, it's very easy to talk to. I ask them questions about their helmet. Oh, let me grab my helmet. They'll go to their bike, they'll grab their helmet, they'll tell me what they like about their helmet, where they bought it, why they bought it, what they're looking for in the next helmet. So interviewing the customer couldn't be easier. I think it's a lot has to do with the Davidson brothers about 100 years ago when they started these social events. But as you can see from the picture, it's not just Harley riders. Right here you have, and this is just very easy. You walk and you see, okay? Ducati sport bike rider has a half shell helmet. You can see right here, half shell, half shell, half shell, half shell. Half shell, there's a 3/4 right there. Half shell, half shell. And over here, you see these all over the place. These are novelty helmet shells. Very small helmets. They offer zero protection, and they are against the law. So you get tickets. And I've interviewed this guy right here. He got 1 ticket this year. He gets 1 more. He's going to go up to one of these. This is a DOT-approved helmet. Okay, right here. This is advertised as the smallest DOT helmet, and this is what we're competing with. You can see the size difference, okay? You got mushroom head, you're back to the novelty shell size. On every interview, 10 out of 10. They want a smaller, low-profile helmet. They're concerned about how the fit feels, the cooling mechanism, and one thing that I did learn that came up over and over again was a variable tension, quick release chin strap, which I have on my prototype right here. But now we know that the customer really likes this feature as well. So you can adjust your tension, loose, tight, quick release. So we know that we're hitting the mark with our customer, and I can't wait to provide them with the helmet that they desire. Any questions?
Yeah, we got one more slide here. Next week, what we're going to do, or 2 weeks from now, we're going to the AIM Expo in Orlando. There we're going to be asking all of the attendees, we're going to be talking to as many people as we can there to better understand the technology and how they make their decision, how they make their buying decisions, so we can move our process along. So we're going straight to the most active users in the country.
Conferences are really good to go to. You guys will make a lot of good contacts. With all you guys, try to find out how they pay for things. What's their buying decision and things like that. They always buy through distributors, they go to stores, they buy online, all those kind of questions you gotta try to answer. All right, so for Ray, 4 minutes sharp, man.
Right, less than 4 minutes.
Less than 4 minutes.
All right, so lessons learned from last week, the past week. I saw a lot of things in people's presentations last week that I liked, and so I copied those and then through customer discovery kind of added to them. So a couple of key points. Customer doesn't care about your technology, but at the same time, they kind of have to understand it because you can't just sell them magic. We have to quantify our market a little bit better. That's a question that came up a couple times this week. We have to know our competition, and feature list doesn't equal value proposition. I got this from the Steve Blank videos. So, I showed a variation of the slide last week. I did this quick, simple assembly of LEDs into an array. We can use pre-tested LEDs, long life, low maintenance for this method, and it's scalable and do a 4K display in minutes rather than days. But I didn't tell any of you how it worked. It just looks like magic. So, I think the easiest way to explain this is, I'm not going to explain what diamagnetic levitation is. Basically, these LED dyes float over the surface and they get shaken around with some vibration. They fall into holes in the magnetic field, much like any of these puzzle games if you've ever played these. So LEDs are balls, our magnetic field are the holes. So I think that's a really simple way to explain how we're doing what we're doing. Quantifying the market, and this is really important for us because we can't just go out and become a display manufacturer. Customers have told us that's a $4 billion cost of entry market, super competitive. We need to find our niche and stick with it. So our initial market's going to be the out-of-home video marketing and just the video wall segment. That's where our technology can fit in the best, given the pixel pitch needed. And that's a fairly big market, 197 million this year, growing to over twice that in 2022. But really, the market we want to get into is this one right here, the electronic display market. And that's all types of electronic displays, and that's a multi-billion-dollar market. And that's the target market which we're going to shoot for eventually. When it comes to competition, I think it's much better summed up in this way. What we can do better is we just kind of have the best of both worlds. We can use pick and places, pre-tested LEDs, but the transfer printing's parallel processing. So we can do lots of LEDs at once, but we know every one of those works. We can scale and we can go to the sub-millimeter pitch, very, very fine pixel pitch, which is required for those video walls I mentioned before. And so when it comes to value proposition, you're talking about, it's fast, it's simple, it's low wear, but those are just features. So instead, I tried to ask myself, what were the problems, or the assumed problems? I have to go out and test these now. So for example, binning of LEDs is slow. So we can accelerate that by testing many at once instead of one at a time. Another problem, small tricolor LEDs, the ones that have RGB chips in them already. Those are really difficult to assemble, especially in the small scale. So maybe we can apply our technology to make that faster and reduce the cost. In fact, I have a number on that. You can reduce the cost by about 2/3. And finally, the problem that direct view LED displays are just too expensive. Again, get rid of the packaging, cut the cost by 2/3 on just the LEDs alone, and also cut assembly time by about a factor of 100. So what's next? We've been told that seeing is believing. We really need a validated prototype. So I'm scaling right now. This is our initial 4x4 stage. Now I have a 16x16. I can make it a little bit larger. In fact, I'm actually going to tessellate this in different ways. It's not going to be just a giant square. Talking with key partners and continuing trying to pursue NDAs with some of the largest display manufacturers out there. So that's it.
All right.
Are the large manufacturers receptive? How are the NDAs going?
Yeah, so we have an NDA with Barco. If you're familiar with them, they made that horrible display dongle that we used last week, but they also really the big high-end premium players in the outdoor market. Optech is a US-based sign manufacturer. We have an NDA out with them. NDA was with LG and blank on the last one. Epistar, the LED manufacturer.
So yeah, they seem receptive.
Yeah. Continue trying to get with them, but yeah, that actually one of them was just cold calling. So I cold called a local sales office down in Newburgh. They directed me just to a sales manager out in North Dakota where they're located, and that just got kicked up the chain, and now I have an NDA with the VP of engineering. So it takes time, but it can work.
Mike, do you know Steve Einhorn?
Yeah.
Steve did the NASDAQ one.
Oh, yeah.
It was his company that put that together.
Okay.
And he still lives here locally.
Yeah, okay, that's company.
I have it.
Okay. Awesome.
I will talk to you later.
Yeah, that's good. All righty. Thanks, sir. Okay. Is that the last of our presentations here? I know we got the Panamanian water guys. But you're going to only have a presentation. Just come on up.
Yeah, sure.
Just do a little soft shoot.
We'll make it real quick.
Make it quick. Tell people what you learned.
It's not much.
That's pretty cool.
Not much. I did 5 cold calls with retailers in our area. We actually we were very well received. We also did product development. We looked at actual equipment. Remember, we're very embryonic in this whole piece. So we actually hit a couple of pivot points. We decided that as opposed to starting right out with foreign import export, we're probably going to use the grant money to do proof of concept prototype. I think we can develop within the confines of the actual grant. I think we can get a working model up and running. We would start local and actually produce a local bottled rainwater product. We use the week to do a lot of research on what is out there. Rainwater is not a common source of bottled water. There are about 2 or 3 of them in the country. We could conceivably get a local product. Chip lives up near the Adirondack line. We call it Adirondack. Basically, you could kind of leapfrog a series of products with rain. I live down in the Catskills. We call it Catskill rain, Adirondack rain, Albany rain. I'm not so sure of, but anyhow, you get the notion. We could actually, as opposed to starting with the larger not-for-profit, we could actually go directly to small, work to local restaurants, small retailers, etc. So the market looks really good. Everybody I spoke to loves the concept. We just don't have a product. Small problem. Okay, so we'll work on that. Use some time to do some other stuff. So we got the pivot point that we're going to go from, as opposed to starting with a larger scale. Also, it makes a whole lot more sense to work out the bugs at home rather than 4,000 miles away. Got a Facebook page, so you can look at all the details there. I won't waste your time. Also, Panama Water Project just doesn't really. So we created a name out of nothing. So you're going to go on your Facebook and look up Aquasphere, one word, water group. You can follow our adventures there. That's about it. Questions?
Have you ever thought about Lake George, the Queen of American Lakes, cleanest water in the United States, bottling that water?
Respectfully disagree, since I live down in the Catskills where we supply the water to New York City, the Ashokan Reservoir. My pitch here is that the rain that falls in the Ashokan Reservoir is the same reservoir I want, the same water I want to put in a bottle and sell to people in New York City. It's their tap water. They can get it for free, and I'm going to sell it to them in a bottle. That's beautiful. Yeah.
What are the regulatory hurdles of collecting rainwater? Because I know in some areas that's highly frowned.
There are no, and this is what I spent a lot of time this week. There are no state laws that prohibit collection of rainwater. There are municipal restrictions out in the West where water rights, riparian rights, even apply to rainwater. So there are communities in Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, where the community says, you as an individual cannot even place a rain barrel under your gutter because that's considered community water. New York State, anything up to 100, I can't remember if it's 100,000 gallons a day or 100 million gallons a day, but I think we can stand with that 100 whatever gallons a day initially. If we violate it, I think I'm looking for it.
There's nothing federal?
No, there's nothing federal. There are at least 2 or 3 other rainwater products in the market. One comes out of Texas. You gotta admit, that's some good stuff. Some good readings. Was it Rain Fresh Water? Was it Rain?
It was like holy water, basically.
It really was. I'll post the name of this, but if nothing else, that site is
From Jesus himself.
It is. Really, I mean, you may as well be Dominus Nabisco, go and sin some more. I will post that so you can reference it yourself at the, if you go to their Facebook, Aquasphere Water Group, you'll get the whole story.
All right.
All right? Cool.
Anyone hasn't come yet, they want to come up and say a few words, or are we good?
Yeah, it really is.
Come on up.
I've been doing so much reading, I swear to God, I could teach you. I should do something in this.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
In the,
So if everyone doesn't remember or wasn't there last week, working Sangamon Diagnostics on a point-of-care blood test. So we went to the MedTech conference this week, which was really great. Talked to GE Ventures, Welch Allen, Roswell Cancer Institute, and Charles River Labs. And we got a lot of insight from those sort of key partners who have been also working on similar things. So it was interesting seeing what other device manufacturers are working on. We found that one huge hurdle in primary care was that trying to do a blood test when you're going into a doctor's office to get a checkup, it would have to test for all of the things that a regular blood test tests for. Otherwise, it would basically be like ineffective because you would have to do the test right there to test for like 5 or 10 things, and then they would have to take your blood again to test for the other couple things that aren't tested. So that's one thing. It's like you have to. It's kind of all or nothing.
Yeah, it's just achieving it too.
Yeah. So basically, like some feedback that we got, which I think might be useful for everyone here, is go for the test with the highest patient count or market, and then the second or third will become part of your story. So we were told to just focus on one thing that we can do perfectly and do really well with complete accuracy and certainty, and then the rest will come from there. Also, if anyone is planning on going overseas, we kind of learned that going overseas, we're gonna need to get a lot more grant money, and it might be a lot easier to stay in the U.S. to get to market quicker. Besides that, some other, Welch Allen also had tried point-of-care testing, and the reason why they failed was because it took too much time to analyze the results, and also because the error bars of the tests were too high. So yeah, right now we're working on a potential collaboration with Harvard, which we just found out about today. So more updates on that in the future. Can't really say anything else. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
On that last slide, can you elaborate a little bit further on that first one?
If I can remember correctly, it was about picking like one target market first.
The way I interpreted it was go for the biggest market, the market with the biggest numbers.
Basically, yeah. So it's like one of the two, or even ideally both. So we were told from 2 different people. One is go for the biggest market, basically the one that you can have the biggest impact on immediately to get your name out there and to start, especially when you're doing manufacturing. You know, unlike an app where it's like costs to make the app and then you can start getting customers. Like if you're doing manufacturing, you're making 1 million products. You're going to have to make sure that those are going to have a market and you're going to have to sell them, because otherwise it's going to be too expensive to do small batches. And then the other conflicting sort of piece of advice that we got was to try to go for what was easiest for us to produce. So like what was the most, would have the least hurdles regulatory wise and in terms of the science.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Actually, I was just thinking about that. Maybe I'll even give a presentation on like what investors want to see, because your value proposition when you're showing it to customers is going to change from your value proposition when you're showing it to investors. So it just gets at that. So you're going to, investor, we're going for the biggest market and we will own that market and all that. When you're talking to customers, you might be like, yeah, we're really going to do this, that kind of thing. So anyway, I want to go quick because it's 7:30. I wanted to first just say, and I always just get a kick out of this, like, look at you guys. I'm loving this, man. Like, you guys, it's such a diverse group. How often do you get this situation? We're here on a freaking Tuesday night. We could be doing all kinds of other shit. Look at this, man. We're all here together. Everybody's got a totally different idea. Everybody's got a lot of energy associated with this. I think it's freaking wonderful. I love it. Come on. Hopefully this becomes part of your DNA, and the next company you start, you have more tools in your toolbox. Okay, so we already did that. I'm going to talk about product market fit, all right? So, can you build and deliver a product or service that satisfies a customer need? Pretty simple. So, can you do it? And basically, there we go. So you guys have seen the business model canvas. There's a value proposition. That's what are your customers paying for, and then these customer segments. So why do these guys want what you have? And then we've already talked about what you learned so far. Tell you a sad and true story about customer discovery that happened to me. So we were developing at my old company a new laser. There, woo. See, it was night vision. You guys didn't see it because you don't have night vision goggles. We were developing a new combat ID product. So if you have night vision goggles on, you're looking at a car, some vehicle coming your way, and they have their headlights on, which in Afghanistan and Iraq, they were using their headlights, because not too many people had night vision goggles. but it looks like this. You can't see what that is. You don't know if it could be anything. It could be a motorcycle. It just blooms out. We developed a product that knocked down the light. It still visibly, to your eyeball, looked like white light coming your way. You couldn't tell a difference. But if you had US night vision goggles, it looked like this. And if you look up close, you can see the dude who's driving. So you can really see. You can see this from miles and miles away. We developed this in the desert with Joint Forces Command. We went out to the desert often, and we tested this stuff. I remember the first time we put these on a vehicle, there's helicopters and stuff flying over. You hear, that worked, whatever it was, that worked. I could see it. Like, and the guys flying could tell that was a U.S. vehicle. Imagine the excitement. This is freaking awesome. And all the guys were like, you're gonna save people's lives, man. Made a whole kit right here. That's a whole little kit. It fits all the forward-facing lights on the Humvee. Had to go through the injection molding process, make sure it's military-grade plastics, bulletproof glass, yada yada. Valley of Suck, remember that last time? Launched this product through the Valley of Suck. But we weren't selling it to the right customer. We significantly reduced fratricide, so we were saving US lives because people weren't getting killed by their own forces. Our customer segment was US military, which we should have refined that. But we were developing it with the US military. We weren't the people that were writing the check. So we developed it with Joint Forces Command, and they had nothing to do with writing a check. They had nothing to do with actually paying for this. No kidding. I thought it was the military. You know, I thought they were all in cahoots. Not at all. Not even a little. So Joint Forces Command was actually upset. They were like, man, this stuff works. This is great. But the only person that has check writing authority is an theater commander. So you got to sell it to somebody that's fighting the battle. You didn't want this. You got to roll this out to every vehicle that you have instantly. If you just have 10 vehicles with it, 100 vehicles with it, it's not going to do much good. So you got to outfit everybody. So it's across the whole military. So sadly, I have several of these in my garage. If you guys want some to fit in your car, you want? Yeah, all right. Mr. Danger back there wants one. You're going to be driving with night vision goggles on. You're going to have a night vision attachment on your helmet.
Yeah, we're ready.
So anyway, you got to talk to the right customer. And actually, I heard a few people say, yeah, we talk to customers, they want to buy it. Just be cautious, because people will tell you, oh, hell yeah, I love it. You know, hey, would you buy this, you know, $50? Oh yeah, I'd buy that. All right, give me $50. They're like, no, and I don't want to buy it now. Like, oh, okay, so you're not, you know, get them to place an order. You can do a conditional purchase order. If I make this product, will you then buy it? And how many will you buy? Get them to sign it. Then it becomes a real customer. I learned that the hard way. Oh well, what are you gonna do? So these guys didn't have the ability to pay, making money from products. You guys already know this. We walked through the Valley of Suck, and it sucks, right? I mean, anything beyond the invention, woo, you get excited. You don't get excited again until launch, where you're counting money. Although it is kind of exciting to like do customer discovery, learn about what customers want. It gets old after a while. Once you're on your 400th customer, you're like, Jesus, how many more things I have to do? So, here's some sample of products that we developed going through the Valley of Suck. You may be saying, Clint, can you define this Valley of Suck a little bit more? Well, yes, I will. I'll do a little test case. So we launched a product called LED Christmas lights. These were Evidot light strands. The world's most expensive Christmas light. The only Christmas lights you can find in lime, aqua, and pink. Doesn't everybody want an aqua Christmas tree? Yeah, now how stupid am I? I'm selling shit in the military that nobody wanted, and then developing aqua Christmas trees. I'll get on a tangent. So we hired a consultant, which I would say never hire consultants. I should have sold these. You know what? We developed a night vision one just for fun. We had a night vision version, and we were like, oh, this is great. You can have a Christmas tree that nobody can see except you have night vision. And it worked. It was fantastic. Anyway, we hired this team, and I'm a sucker. The lady had literally a feather boa. Oh, she walks in, and they're high-paid consultants telling us about like the fashion industry, because we were targeting Versace and all these other companies, you know, when we started doing all these colors. And she was like, oh, honey, peach is the hottest. You must have peach. Oh, you must have aqua. If you don't have aqua this year, my God, we're gonna be shut out of the market. So we had flamboyant colors like plum, peach, aqua. We were getting ready to launch persimmon. A persimmon colored LED. Who needs a persimmon colored LED? I didn't even know what a freaking persimmon was when we hit colors. Anyway, I want to tell you the sad story walking through the valley and stuff with these. But it was actually funny and we still made money off of it. So, what is this value suck and how do you start walking through it? You guys are already in it. So that's one thing. We share a common enemy, and that is the value suck. We're right on the valley floor right now. Some people are closer to the mountains of prosperity, but most of us are square in the middle. And some of you guys just slid down the hill of invention into the abyss. You want to crawl back up, you can't. You can't. You're in, and you have to walk across. It's like, you got to finish. All right. So, scoping study first. That's one of the first items you got to do. You guys are doing that. We did some scoping studies. We looked at conventional LEDs and used to laugh at their colors because they can come in 4 colors: red, amber, green, blue, and a shitty looking white, which was really blue with fluorescent light bulb stuff inside to make it look white. So we can make any color. We make freaking persimmon colored LEDs. Of course that's going to sell. The biggest thing we were focused on was white. White LEDs are the key. If you get the white LEDs, then you can get into all kinds of different applications. Because there's tons, way more white LEDs out there than persimmon colored LEDs. I'll just tell you that right now. So scoping study looked at color tunability. We could put it on UV LEDs or blue LEDs, simple sort of phosphor technology. Then we started looking at the intellectual property landscape. So these are all company names. Each of these companies had hundreds of patents on LEDs, colored LEDs, white LEDs, things like that. My God, I spent months looking through these patents. I became the most fluent, LED guy in the IP space. And I noticed something that was really cool, and this is what I kept focusing on. This company, Nichia, was suing everybody that made a white LED. If you had a white LED, Nichia's coming after you. You couldn't launch a white LED without them saying, my technology, because they had several patents around different phosphors. So I looked at our phosphor technology, which that's all it was, it just glows different colors. They didn't have any quantum dot stuff. They didn't have any nanomaterial stuff like what we had. I was like, oh, wow. We got something different than Nichia. Nichia had a stranglehold with the white LEDs. So, going through the stage gate process, every single step of the way, we have to talk to customers and listen to customers every time you mature this.
So do most companies have patent enforcement people? Who assures that patents get enforced?
Yeah, there's big companies have patent enforcement folk that just look out there to see who's wanted what. You will do that yourself. So when you have a patent and you see, wait a minute, that looks like a similar product to what my patent is, you will enforce it yourself. You will go out and go after it.
And who do you complain to?
You usually send a letter, by that time, hopefully you had a corporate attorney and they send a scary letter to their corporate attorney and say you're on notice. Then they have up to 5 years to fix it. But then you need to go after it. So, and that's very difficult and it costs a lot of money. But you can do it, and you should continue to check the patent literature, or not even patent, just check to see who's launched a product. You don't want to sue anybody if they don't have a product, because they're not going to get any money.
So usually, since a lot of technology is being developed in the university setting, the university probably owns the technology, and as a startup, you'll be licensing it from the university.
Yeah.
So that agreement will specify who has to defend those property rights. So if you don't have that agreement in place yet, really look into that. And even if the initial IP holder says they're going to defend it, you as a startup are still most likely going to be responsible for finding it and at least starting a discussion, because unless the university is going to be able to recoup those costs, they might not be willing to defend it.
Yeah.
That's going to be case-by-case basis.
Very good point. That's why, Don't get scared away from licensing technology from a university. A lot of people are like, no way, man, I want this to be all my own. Well, there's some upside to that, but there's also some upside to having a university, a big 900-pound gorilla, help defend your patent. So our value proposition, right after we did some scoping, we offer white LEDs that do not infringe the CHIA's patents. Plus, we have these wonderful brand colors. We can get British Petroleum Green or Versace Purple. We were going to target backlight manufacturers, LCD handsets, all kinds of things, Coke, BP, we talked to Pantone, all kinds of color people out there for our brand colors. Started building the business case, looked at market sizes, growth, do we want to get into high bright LEDs, ultra high bright LEDs, what's the growth of each of these markets, all this kind of stuff. Again, you're trudging through the valley of suck when you're doing this kind of stuff. This isn't the greatest and most fun thing to do. Started looking at where the market segments are, indoor and outdoor signage, handset displays, illumination for different things, backlights, all kinds of stuff like that. So where is your product going to play? Where is it going to sell? It's going to display something else that's out there. So is it a better mousetrap than what's already out there? And so which one of these markets is the best one for you to go to? This is all developing your business case. And again, every step you make through this, you're talking to customers. Every single step of the way. Your conversations will get more and more detailed with fewer and fewer customers than when you're at your stage like right now. But as you go forward, this is what we continue to do. So don't ever think that you're done talking to customers, because it never ends. So then we dropped the brand colors for a while, and we just went in favor of white LEDs. We were like, man, this is such a big market. White LEDs would be so big for us. Let's just go. All the while we were doing development, that happens continuously. So we were making white LEDs and colored LEDs in the lab. Trying to figure out manufacturing processes, and so here's like a color spectrum. If you guys were LED aficionados, you'd be like, oh my God, Clint, how did you do that? That's crazy. And I'm going to show you again because it's so damn crazy. Oh, whoa, woo! I mean, look at those colors. We can get any color you want on that wheel, man. And that's pretty cool. We can get any white you want. We can get Albany sunrise to go with your Albany water. Not the greatest marketing, but we could. We could get Santa Monica sunset. We actually developed candlelight LEDs. Looks like a candle. That's why we call it candle. Yeah, somebody else will make it flicker. We don't do that. Actually, if I made the LED, it would probably flicker. So, the development, we had a proprietary color emitting additive that can be easily applied to standard high brightness LEDs, yada, 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 manufacturable, getting through the valley of suck, wider range of whites, brightness, stability for thousands of hours, efficiency comparable to the other guys that were out there. We had controllable viscosities, which is important if you're going to have the manufacturing over in China, which we did. You have to make sure that the goop that you're giving them fits in their standard machine that they're using to dispense phosphors on top of their LED. It has to fit with their manufacturing process, or you ain't selling, because they're not going to buy a new manufacturing line. You have to fit with their manufacturing process. So we developed the viscosities and all this other stuff that we needed to do this, all the while talking to customers, listening. And then we listened to customers that were in the backlighting, which was the biggest market, and they all needed greater than 10,000 hours of lifetime for these white LEDs. They had to be color stable for a long time, 10,000 hours. A lot of engineering goes into that. Turns out our LEDs changed color. So after about a year of use, they were no longer white, they were way more bluish white. Now, I don't know how long you guys keep a TV, but if you had a TV, big 100-inch TV, bought it last year, and you look at it, it's like freaking blue. Hey, what the hell is this? Taking it back, you know? You don't want that, you can't have it. Our shit bleached away, it turned blue. We thought it lasted a good long time, but talking to customers, it's like, that doesn't last nearly long enough. It takes a long time to do long-term testing also. You don't know it, you get all excited, you know, to see your white light lasting minutes, days, and then weeks. Yes, months. many years. Oh man! So the engineering that goes into every component of a TV is different. So it's going to be tough for us. We'll suffer. So we pivoted to Christmas lights. Ching, 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 ching. Nothing wrong with a pivot. It's just a corrective mistake. You know, you have a guess white, you go through the valley of suck. It turns out customers won't buy it because the color drifts. If you have a Christmas light, you know, you're using them for 30 days. My Aunt Jill used them for 60 days, maybe 90 days even. But she's a little crazy. 90 days for a Christmas light per year. If that sucker lasts 3 years, you look at that LED light after you pull it out of the box for the 3rd year, that's a damn good light. It's still going. Yes?
Is this an advantage? Like next year you got a different light.
And you do have a different light. I bought all persimmon, now they look blue.
Now they look like one. Next year they'll be God knows what. It's a great product.
I switch into Hanukkah. Is the Hanukkah more like blue color? Like, so, yes, it does sound like an advantage. The drifting color light. The multispectral.
Who knows what color next year?
I love it.
Then they start flickering.
So we pivoted to Christmas lights. Way easier market, like, as far as engineering difficulty goes. Tighter margins, that's for sure. So smaller amount of revenue we could take out of it. You know, there's not a lot of profit in it. Looking for middle class holiday enthusiasts seeking new lighting options. So we knew pink and lime and plum were not going to be sold to everybody. But we thought, all right, we're going to get into high end because this is freaking most expensive Christmas light you could buy. Street value was $18 a strand. $18. So we tried to do that. We sold a few, but not many at that price. We had to go to market prices. Cost structure, we had Chinese manufacturing with packaging in the US actually. So we made the strands over there, we shipped them back here, put them in the boxes. Had 20% margin if we sold through a distributor, these kind of things. Inside direct sales, local high-end network, and we had a contract with a group called Holiday Creations out of Denver, and they were selling wildly in Canada. So we had a channel, revenue streams, all these kind of things. Came up with the cool packaging idea, you know, made them in a different sort of box. If you're gonna make the world's most expensive Christmas light, you better put it in a damn nice looking box, you know? Can't be in a paper bag. It's got to be in a nice box. So we came up with a box design, actually copyrighted the box design. You got to come up with cut sheets. So you got to come up, if you're going to sell a product, you got to come up with like some things you can leave behind to a customer. So this would go to like a retailer. Hey, you know, Macy's, would you carry our stuff? Here's the dot strand product line. Here's a little sample of what you could do. We showed them samples of what it looks like on the shelves and all this kind of stuff, decorating, things like that. And again, you got to go through all of that when you're in the Valley of Suck. You're not selling products yet, but you're still talking to people. You had to get UL approval. We had to get RoHS compliance for cadmium in Europe. All kinds of stuff that you gotta finally figure out and do. I didn't know we needed UL approval. So if you plug something in, you're gonna need UL. You won't get product liability insurance, which is another thing. So some kid chokes on a plum-looking light because he thinks it looks like an M&M or something. Your ass is grass if you don't have product liability insurance. So you gotta get product liability insurance. They won't insure you unless you have UL approval. So you gotta go through that. It's a process. And it takes months. It costs money. So just keep all that stuff in mind. We had to train the manufacturing on how to make them, train the sales staff on how to sell them, and then we get to launch. How nice is that? That's the rice building over in Troy. That's the office that we had up front. And we decorated, subtle little lessons. Any big company, Lowe's, Home Depot, if you have a product that's going to go to them, you basically have to meet them over in Hong Kong. They're going to be shopping around for every Chinese manufacturer for their products that they want for that season. So if you have any sort of product that you want to sell to Target, you probably have to go to Hong Kong and meet them over there with your manufacturing partner and say, this is our product, this is what we're going to offer, and we can deliver it.
What time of year do they go shopping?
For Christmas products, they go in June. Yeah. It's actually, we always thought we could make a really cool Halloween light, because we can make orange, you know? The Christmas light manufacturers that we talked to laughed at the Halloween guys, because it screws with their timing. So they're the people that typically make Halloween lights are not the ones that make Christmas lights. So they're different. Just again, timing. And they basically send the factory workers home at for several months during the season. But they have it all timed out so that shipments come over in September. Take your orders from big companies, mass production, but there's all kinds of lead time and yearly sort of seasonality to things. We still continue to work on white as we were doing these colored Christmas lights. So we were still trucking. I thought it'd be useful for you guys to see a decade in the life of an entrepreneur. So I did a little time slips. So I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer, so I collect data. So from 2000 to 2012, so you get a dozen years, not just a decade. I'm giving you a bonus. I'm giving you 20% bonus. So decade plus 2. These are the patents we filed every year. So we had a little peak of patents about the same time with the peak number of employees. So peak employees are in pink here, 45. You notice little things like outside sales reps. So we had an outside sales force across the country selling biotech products. And they weren't selling. Biotech products were very difficult for us to sell. We had to cut it. Then we closed our main facility, which was a facility that was doing the biotech research for us. So we had several employees up there as well. We started at that point we had a good biotech product line, but we started looking for partners to commercialize it for us because we couldn't sell it. It was very difficult, very technical and very difficult product to sell. You see other things on there, like a little chapter 11. I'll tell you about that in a second. Just the 11th chapter of my life. When I started, I had an earring, a hoop, and first investor wrote us a check at the country club. After he wrote the check, he flipped my earring, take that goddamn thing out. Why? I look like a dangerous scientist. He's like, the last thing any investor wants is danger. Dangerous scientists, forget about it. They're never going to raise another dime. Like, you got to look like your investors. That's the key. So I got a pinstripe suit, shiny black shoes. I wear that only when I'm talking to investors. They want safety. They want security. Launched some biotech products. I cracked some molars. This happens. Stress at night. Launched LED products, night vision products. Small Business Man of the Year. No, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, good times. So I plotted my weight. I'll show you what that looks like. So here's how much money we raised. So this was sort of a rolling close here. Then we had several other rounds of money. So we raised, I think, 28 million altogether. Funny thing happened. Look at this. LEDs, white LEDs went from 20 cents down to 3 cents in less than a year's time. Why? The Chia stopped suing people. Why? The Chia? We invented something, commercialized it, and didn't infringe any of your patents. Why did you stop suing? I have no idea. They just stopped suing. Then there was a flood of Chinese white LEDs. So in 2008 is when we first saw LED flashlights. You didn't see them before at Lowe's. They had real cheap LED flashlights. Before 2008, they didn't exist because that company would have been sued out of existence. Then you see a flood of the cheap white stuff everywhere. It's LED solar lights you plug in, all that kind of stuff. Those all came on the market in 2008. We didn't know. How the hell are they going to predict that company's not going to sue people? And that would affect the price so much. Well, it didn't. Oh, look at troops. Troops were way up here. Everything was good. And then they decided, let's pull out. So the mission in Iraq changed, started pulling troops out. So the last thing a guy in the field wants when they're pulling troops out is a new gadget to attach to all the cars. Why would they ship stuff in when they're shipping everything out? Bad timing. Again, we didn't know. We walked through the Valley of Sun. So just because you walk through the Valley of Sun does not mean you're going to enjoy the fruits of the mountain of prosperity. So we had a little prosperity, but not a lot of prosperity. International market crash in 2008. huge lawsuit from a company called Invitrogen, where they sued us for patent infringement, election year. So remember how I said right here, we started looking for partners to take our biotech products? We were talking to a company called Invitrogen. They later turned into Life Technologies. Invitrogen, would you like our patents? Yeah, I love those products. I tested those products. Yeah, let's license them, but we got to do some testing on them first. They took so long to test our products. I went to one of their competitors, eBioscience. Hey, eBio, you want to license our stuff? We're trying to get rid of the whole product line. It's hard for us to sell. You guys already have a market. Yeah, we'll do it. Give me the terms. Sure. Within a month, we had a license with eBio. I told Invitrogen, sorry, we licensed it to somebody else, undisclosed, I can't tell you. 24 hours later, we were sued for patent infringement. You can't do that, you wanted our patents, that's crazy. Oh no, they can't. Sued us in the Eastern District of Texas, which is what they call a rocket docket, which basically means there's local rules in the Eastern District of Texas that favor huge companies. So if you have a pile of money, you go sue somebody in the Eastern District of Texas, and basically the local rules say, you have to come up with your entire argument, your entire defense, and this is going to take years to defend. Come up with your entire defense, every fact that you're going to do, and come up with it. We literally had wheelbarrows full of documents produced by Eastern District of Texas lawyers. Some of the lawyers out there, a lot of them. Before we even got to talk to the judge, it cost us $2 million. So then we talked to the judge and said, Your Honor, you got to throw this out. He was like, nah, let's keep it going. So my board was like, screw it, we can't keep it going. It's going to cost us, another $5 million. So forget it. The only way we could get out of it was a little thing called Chapter 11. So we had to declare bankruptcy to get out of the lawsuit because it was draining us of money. So even though you have a good product, a good idea, walk through the valley of suck, got some stuff selling and all that kind of stuff, people are interested in it, you can get sued by a big one. That sucks. Hope that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Wait, what did you guys do wrong, just so we know not to do that again?
What I should have done better is in the agreement with eBioscience, I wrote some contingencies in there saying if we get sued, you will come to our defense. But the way it was written, it didn't translate that way. It was like if we get sued, eBio and Evident get named in a suit, then they do the battle, and we don't pay for it. Evident was the only one that was named in the suit. God, are you kidding? So, rookie mistake. But we had some pretty high-paid lawyers too. Yeah, so here's my weight. So 200 pounds here, going up. These are good times, raising money. 220, 230 probably. 163 pounds. There's no way I get down to 163 pounds. I was wearing skinny jeans every day. Imagine being skinny jeans. Couldn't happen. You can tell I'm having some good times now. So my weight, I wanted to just see, because I think my weight maps to happiness of the company. So this could be for you guys. Like you could put people on a weight gain program as incentive to retain them, because they're going to be happy. All right. There's outside forces out there that will mess you up. I didn't even tell you, because you guys are going through the entrepreneurial lifestyle. Ready? One of the other things that happened right here, I declared personal bankruptcy, corporate bankruptcy, and I caught my wife cheating. What? I caught my wife cheating the day we declared bankruptcy. The day, the night, caught her cheating. Jumped through the sunroof, kicked the guy's ass, went to jail, took my wedding ring off in handcuffs. That's going to be the name of my book. I took my wedding ring off in handcuffs. That's right. But it's a lifestyle, man. Not that that's part of anybody's lifestyle. 1 week later, moved out of the house and knocked over a lamp and pulled my back muscle because I was dancing so hard by myself. Like, this is crazy. So it was like, you pick up life, love, art, science, corrected assumptions. Make an assumption, decorrect it. So it actually worked out. Fantastic. I love it. My life is much, much better. So I don't encourage you guys to jump through a sunroof, but it was pretty rewarding. My only regret is I had flip-flops on. All right, outside forces will mess you up. You gotta build a fault-tolerant team. You can't build a team that hasn't failed 100 times. That's what we're here for. Help you guys fail quickly, often, regularly. Don't even see it as failure. I don't recognize failure anymore. Jeez. Refresh your plan B continuously. Exercise that failure recovery mechanism, like I said. Collaborate where possible. Don't be arrogant. Don't hold things back. You know, trying to pick investors that are aligned with management too. So, 2016, fast forward, we actually, right after the bankruptcy, we licensed all of our white light LED technology to Samsung because they were really hungry to buy it. As soon as we launched our LED products and like the Christmas lights, Samsung was hot and heavy. So they licensed our technology, paid us a bunch of money, and it took them about 5 years, but they fixed the bleaching problem, and you now will see quantum dot LED TVs, quantum dot display. For those of us walking through the valley of suck, to see that your technology is here. Look at that stage, it's huge. Look at that dude. Look at that TV. Look at that stuff back there. You know what that is? It's quantum dots. Like, that was our display technology. It's like, we made it. That's awesome. And we made money off it. So, me the day the product was launched, I don't know, somebody snapped this picture. They couldn't prove it was me. I don't know. You gotta always listen to customers. Identify who is the one paying. Very important. Understand the buying cycle. Understand the customer persona. You gotta really understand all these attributes of why somebody's gonna give you cash. So let's quickly talk about customers, different customer segments. Who are they? Geographically, socially, demographically, etc. Who are these guys? So you exist because these customers buy from you, not the opposite way. These guys are buying from you, therefore your company exists. So who are your most important customers? Describe them, know them, understand how they buy, how they want to be approached, how they want to be talked to. Do they want direct sales? Do they want high touch? Do they no touch? What do they do? Like, what job does your product do for them? Really define things. Get into your customer's head. You may have 3 different customer segments. You may have more. Each customer segment may actually have its own value proposition. They may want to be talked to in different ways. They want to sell it in different ways. You might have different revenue streams associated with them. Don't be afraid to put multiple colors on your canvas, or just have multiple canvases, multiple canvae. I think that's plural. I don't know what I'm talking about. I get rolling and I just start talking. All right, so different customer segments, you know, it could be different types of people, different value propositions for each of those, and all these other things map to it as well. So what type of customer is it? Is it an end user, influencer, recommender, decision maker, payer? You know, who is this person that you're talking to? Collaborators? Kind of a customer, could be, you know. But you need to understand how they fit with the whole purchasing decision and what that decision-making process looks like. So this guy, you need to get approval from my boss. Really good to know. Who's your boss? I'm going to talk to them. Company credit card with $2,000 limit. Oh yeah, our product is $1,900. Like, it works out. That's how we priced our biotech products. So we saw what people typically had in the lab for their buying power and priced it accordingly. So you didn't have to wait for approval processes. Prefer to buy for a long-term contract? Fantastic. So that's going to be more of a relational thing instead of just them calling customer service. It's going to be, they're going to know a sales rep or something like that. This is an unbudgeted item and I need to wait till next budget cycle. Okay. If you can get into a budget, fantastic. It's going to take you a long time to sell it. But you got to understand how they are going to buy your products. And are you going to be B2B, like business to business, or are you going to be business to consumer, the end user? So, you know, IBM, Square, Salesforce, these are all B2B. McDonald's, Xbox, Netflix, they're all business, B2C. Marketing terms, it's like spearfishing, very small number of companies out there. You know who they are, and you can absolutely target them. The other one is more like net fishing. You're casting a big net. Some of you guys have B2C products, some are B2B. Very large marketing cost associated with trying to fish for a lot of different users than for spearfishing. Okay, homework. Did you guys refine your customer discovery approach? from what you've learned, because you've probably already gained some knowledge about talking to customers. Try to figure out what would work best. You can give me a call if you have any questions, or talk to one of your campus reps as well. Try to build a new pitch deck. We're always going to keep doing that. Try to come up with at least 10 more interviews. And schedule a meeting with your on-campus rep next week. So we have a bye week next week, so you won't hear me rattling on. You guys are gonna have the week to do customer discovery and go make sure that you set up time to talk to your on-campus rep. Any questions?
I think you very last time. So I'm curious about the budget thing. How does that?
The budget? Yeah. So hopefully everybody submitted a budget. Basically, your campus rep looks at it first, and then it goes to Kelly Reardon over at RPI, and then we make some decisions. Oh, this could go, this doesn't.
That once you're spent with this program?
Yes.
Okay.
What else? Okay. Thank you guys. Go out and enjoy the rest of the night. Go join your bowling team or whatever you got now. Thank you for coming.
We're going to meet customers.
Go meet some customers. Yeah, that's even better.
I'm the blue here.
Let's go to the